Casper and Dennis here for Submission Radio, proudly presented by Manscaped, official electric trimmer of the UFC. There's a lot of accomplishments with this next man, but the fight's this Sunday, and we're at Thursday, so we don't have time for all of them. He's actually headed straight to the NBA with such a vertical leap. He's also the man helping Alex Volkanovski prepare for Islam Makhachev with his incredible grappling. Craig Jones, dude, what an honor. I'm curious, man, what's it been like basically being Islam for however many weeks or months now?
Well, obviously I had to get into character. The mustache is growing back.
Yeah.
I didn't shave it again because I was worried they would run into me in the lobby and give me the slap. Who'd they slap? Adam Lobov?
Yeah. Grabbed him by the back of that, yeah.
So we grew it back. But honestly, it was pretty easy being Islam, you know? Like, I didn't have to worry about taking Volks down. I just had to be a boring on top, you know?
So you took it like a method acting thing. You're basically Heath Ledger in the Dark Knight. It's basically being Islam outside of the gym every day, everywhere you go.
I lived a very pure lifestyle for this camp. I didn't touch any alcohol, nothing. I really got into character.
Just strictly a diet of Gabby Garcia's panties, and that's it, correct?
That's true. I even stopped masturbating to Gabby this camp.
Oh, wow.
Is that why your shirt's so blue?
That was the toughest part of the camp, honestly.
It's going off the rails from the beginning. We absolutely love it. What's one thing that Islam does that makes him so dominant, man, that you think a lot of past opponents haven't been able to figure out yet?
I mean, I think it's just a combination of how he uses judo and wrestling. You know, very rarely do you find someone with both skills. Usually he's a wrestler, he attacks the legs, but he's obviously got the upper body attacks too. But I think part of what makes Islam special and Khabib special is they have that Mike Tyson effect. Everyone's so scared. They're like, oh, shit, if it hits the ground, it's over. You know what I mean? Obviously, no one's superhuman. No one's grappling abilities that good. You know, so I think a lot of people just panic and make bad decisions on the ground.
Have you noticed like Alex Volkanovski sort of being calmer in those bad positions? Because that's something that he's been saying a lot leading up to this camp. And I almost feel like Khabib's presence is there because people see what Khabib's done and they think, well, Islam's the heir to Khabib. Like, you know, that dominance kind of goes in there mentally. Have you noticed Alex being sort of a lot more calm in these bad positions that you put him in?
Yeah, for sure, because he just has the approach like, I don't care if I get taken down, I will get back up. And again, I think everyone else is like, oh, fuck, if I get taken down, the fight's over. You know, and they start to stress out, panic, use a lot of energy. But I think if you just see it as any other opponent, it's no big deal, really. I mean, it's not Gabby Garcia on top of you know?
Unfortunately not, yeah. But let's figure this out for a second, though. So you're you know, one of the best out there. You've been working with Alex in these difficult positions. What are some of the key factors in trying to get out? For those people that don't understand, you know, Islam's got great top control. What are some of those key factors that you worked on in getting up and out from underneath Islam?
I mean, he's just good at holding people down. Like, he submits people, but I don't think he has good submissions. You know what I mean? Like, it's a wrestling culture, and they obviously have some submissions in Sambo and stuff, but Sambo is pretty bad as a grappling art, you know? Like, a lot of the Sambo guys enter tournaments, they want heel hooks bands, you know? So it's not a complete grappling art on the ground. But again, what he does well is his ability to hold people down from half guard and close guard especially. And then as they make bad decisions, he's able to pounce on submissions. But even still, like, obviously it's hard for me to say this, but even when I looked at him submit Charles Oliveira, if you looked at how he submitted him, he grabbed his neck and he squeezed him as hard as he could. To me, I look at that, I see that as an inefficient choke. You know, if he didn't get that, he's burning his arms out, you know, whereas I feel like higher level technique, he'd be able to hold on to that thing for 3-4 minutes, if you know what I mean.
And you know what's crazy? That fight and that submission is what a lot of people are basing this fight on, because they see it and they're like, man, if you did that to Charles, Volk has no chance. When you think about that narrative, what does that say to you?
I mean, if you get submitted after being dropped, I don't really count it. I know back in the day, Wagner Hosha, really good grappler. Obviously, I'm not saying Jake Matthews isn't, but Jake submitted him. And I remember they gave him his brown belt in the octagon after. It really pissed Wagner off. But Wagner was basically knocked out at that point. You know what I mean? If Islam came out, took him down, passed his guard, submitted him, I would be a whole lot more impressed. But he almost knocked him out, jumped on a submission, and got the tap pretty quick. So I don't know. It's hard to see that strength in grappling through that.
A lot of people are focusing on the defense and getting up off the ground, but I wonder, is there an opportunity from where you're looking at this fight to be offensive grappling-wise as well, reversing positions, taking advantage of bad shots, and even maybe working out of positions on the bottom and trying to advance rather than just trying to get back up?
Oh, for sure. Like I said, a lot of Sambo guys terrified of heel hooks. Sambo, you can only knee bar, and I believe you can do it like at a straight ankle, Achilles lock. No heel hooks. Terrified of it. So I could definitely see Volk submitting him very quickly with a heel hook.
Do you know anybody that knows anything about heel hooks or leg locks that could possibly shown Alex something? Or
I mean, there's a famous New Zealand guy, but I definitely recommend my instructionals over his.
The BJJ Fanatics DVDs, right?
The plug, yeah. Again, a lot of people say to me, oh, fuck, I bet you hope Volks doesn't get taken down. I'm like, no, fuck, I hope he gets taken down and gets back up. That means sales for me.
Yeah. BJJfanatics.com. Just while Frank Hickman's taking a nice juicy shower in the background, I want to talk about body mechanics. Everyone's talking about the height of Islam, right? And then you got Volk, who's a lot shorter, but he's actually got the reach advantage. He's got the freakishly long arms. I just wonder how all that, from a physical and anatomical standpoint, plays into this fight as well.
I mean, it's tough to shoot on guys that are smaller than you, and it's tough to submit those guys. You know what I mean? Their limbs are so short. Like, if you look at how Khabib takes guys down and rides the legs, like he will shelf the legs against the wall, that's hard if your legs are 30 centimeters long. That's going to work better against taller guys. And it's also going to be easier for Volks to be able to get butterfly hooks back in. There's just less to work with there. So I think it favors Volks in that sense. Like, I think you want to be the smaller guy in that sense if you're the defensive grappler.
you've worked with Volk for a while now in the team, but I wonder, did you have questions in your head when you first started in this camp that kind of got answered, or anything that you realized about Volk in this specific camp leading into Islam? Because I suppose you guys would be more focused specifically on certain aspects of his grappling game.
For sure. I mean, honestly, Ortega's more dangerous on the ground. Obviously, Ortega's taken more losses. His submissions are better than Islam's. I think Ortega could give Islam a good fight, honestly. So, I mean, I think him escaping Ortega's submissions will be more impressive than him escaping Islam's submissions.
You're one of the best grapplers in the world, bar none. When you're grappling with Volkanovski, what does that feel like?
Oh, he's tough for sure. I mean, a lot of MMA fighters are tough, but they're just tough. Volks will be tough, and he tries to technically work his way out of submissions, So I think that balance is sort of what makes him unique.
You see a lot of opportunity here with Islam's grappling game. I wonder, when you think about this fight, a lot of people think, Volk potentially stopping Islam with strikes, but I get a feeling from you that you almost feel like there's an opportunity there to even win by a submission, maybe some kind of route like that.
For sure, yeah. I mean, obviously, so a lot of people seem to be looking past Volks, and I think Islam, even to a certain degree, is doing that. But when you're such a heavy favorite, if Volks gets back up after a takedown, that's going to shatter his confidence in a huge way. If he gets back up again, that just slowly eats away at him. And another interesting thing, I believe for this one, he's only got 24 hours to rehydrate. So I think typically 36 hours. So I think that's going to play a factor in the later rounds as well. I think as long as Volk's not down 3 rounds, when we enter round 4, I think it heavily favors Volkanovski those last rounds. I think Islam will be strong early, but I don't think he can maintain that for 5 rounds.
I mean, you mentioned it is MMA, but just for last, what did you think of Islam saying Australia has no wrestling?
I mean, he's right, honestly.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah. He backed it up pretty well, but I was just curious your thoughts.
He's not wrong. Australia has no wrestling. Russia has no submissions. I think that balances it pretty fairly,
All right, well, closing thoughts as we wrap this up. Gabby Garcia's underwear, is it here with you today? Do you take it everywhere with you? Is it back over in the States? How do you carry this piece of memorabilia around with you?
I bring it with me everywhere I go because, believe it or not, it actually fits Joe Lopez as well. But I did bring it on the private jet. You never know. We have an accident in the sky to make a good parachute on the way down.
Phenomenal. Well, we look forward to this weekend's fight. We look forward to you passing us the underwear after this interview. Craig, what a legend. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, guys.